welcome to the Economic Development Council's Vision of Progress. I'm your host, Nathan Sparks, and today you can tell that we're not in our normal studio. In fact, we're here at Bay State Cable Ties in Crestview, and we're very proud to have Bob Sayers, owner of Bay State Cable Ties, as our guest today. Bob, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Nathan.
Well, we certainly appreciate you hosting us today, and you all are really a hidden jewel here in Crestview. A lot of folks that are watching may not be familiar with Bay State Cable Ties, but you've been here for a number of years. Your business is doing well. Tell us a little bit about your business, if I can ask.
Absolutely, Nathan. First, I apologize for the noise, but we are in a manufacturing facility, and I would say we could film after hours, but we don't have after hours. We run 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and we make cable ties.
Right.
And we make a lot of cable ties. Last year we sold 1.5 billion cable ties.
Billion?
Billion.
With a B?
With a B.
Wow.
Yes. We came here 12 years ago, and this was an empty facility. There was nothing here, and we built it up now. We have over 100 employees and sales in excess of $20 million.
That's fantastic. Now, I also know you guys have some very prominent customers that you manufacture cable ties for. Can you talk about who those folks might be?
Yes. Our biggest customer right now is 3M. We actually private label, so we make the products and put 3M's name on it. And another one is Fastenal, another one is Brody, Thomas & Betts. Very big customers, very important. And the reason they came to us is because they wanted a made in America product.
Okay.
And all of our products are made here in America.
That's fantastic. Now, when you say private label, for those who might not be familiar with what that means, that's if you go somewhere and purchase a 3M cable tie, that means you all are actually manufacturing that cable tie, and 3M is labeling that, correct?
That's correct. We make it for them, we put their label on it. They come in and do extensive testing to make sure we meet their quality standards.
Right.
They constantly visit us, they constantly monitor us, and they make sure that we're doing everything up to the 3M standards.
That's tremendous. Now, Bob, you mentioned that you guys have been here for 12 years.
Yes.
And I'd love to know, obviously I wasn't here at that time, but some of the drivers of the decision back 12 years ago, what led you to Crestview, Florida?
Sure. 12 years ago, we were just buying products from China and reselling it.
Right.
We were doing $100,000 worth of business, not much. When we decided we wanted to become a full-service manufacturer in the United States. So I traveled all around the U.S. and tried to find a location that would fit our needs. I went to many states, and the final decision was here in Crestview, and that was because of the state leaders, the local leaders, the EDC, everybody in the area helped us and gave us the right incentives and the right reasons to come here. And it's been a success for us. We work well with the community, we work well with the government, and everything has been working great for us.
That's fantastic to hear. And obviously you're growing, and we're going to get to that in just a second.
Yes.
But I understand over the past 7 years, you guys have had revenue growth, double-digit revenue growth year over year, every year of those past 7 years. That's really tremendous, Bob.
That's correct. We've, as I said, 12 years ago we were no sales at all.
Right.
$100,000. And now we're well over $20 million. Even through 2008, 2009, we still had double-digit growth. And I attribute a lot to that, to the people here and our ability, and also the Made in America. It really has helped us. Our biggest competitors would be China, but we beat them, and we beat them good.
Well, and that's tremendous news. You know, we hear so much on the nightly news about the so-called demise of manufacturing in our country,
That's
but
right.
you guys are bucking that trend, and you're doing it right here in Crestview, Florida.
That's right. We're not afraid of anybody anywhere. And I'll give you a good example of it. Cost-wise, we're par with China. But if someone wanted to order a cable tie from China, they order it today, it gets made, it gets put on a container, it gets shipped here, and they receive that order sometime, maybe in 3 months. And by the way, they pay for it when they order it. When they order from us on a Monday, we ship it Monday night, they get it Tuesday,
right.
And they pay us in 30 days. So it's a tremendous advantage. We're a warehouse for people,
right.
And that's why and our quality is superior to anybody else.
Well, and the first time I toured here, which you'll remember was several months back when we first began our discussions, and I was amazed to see the variations in cable ties that exist here. You have frost-proof cable ties,
yes.
Which we don't have much use for around here, of course, but you really have a full gamut of cable ties for virtually any application.
That's correct. We have the smallest cable tie we make is a 4-inch cable tie, and that you would see with computer wires and things like that. And the largest we make is a 48-inch cable tie, and that's up in ductwork. It's called HVAC, heating and air conditioning.
Right.
So we make, our product goes in Do-it-yourself, electronics, fasteners, HVAC, all industrial. Jet planes use millions of cable ties.
Really?
Everywhere, everywhere. So their use is all over the place.
So I have to ask, is there the most popular color out there for a cable tie? Because,
black.
Really? Okay.
Yep, 70% of what we sell is black.
Okay.
And the reason is because when you sell a black cable tie, it has an additive in it that allows it to be used outside and not degrade.
Really?
So if you buy a natural one and use it outside, it would probably fall apart much sooner than a black one would.
Okay, very good. Well, let's talk about today. Today has been a very special day for you and your team and your employees. Tell us what happened today.
Well, let me step back and tell you what happened a year ago and bring us to today. About a year ago, when we first moved here, they said we didn't know what we were going to do with this building. We thought it was too big. With that double-digit growth that you talked about, we realized a year ago we were running out of space. We couldn't add anything else here. We needed to do something. So we had two choices. We could either relocate or we could add on to this facility. We started looking around. Alabama and Georgia came after us very strong with very good incentives to move there. I liked Florida. I wanted to stay here, but I was truthful with our local leaders and I said, look, you're going to have to step up to the plate and make this work. Immediately, the local leaders, the EDC, everybody came to our aid, and then they said, why don't we talk to Governor Rick Scott? I put a call into Governor Scott. The next day he called me back. We talked a couple of times. He said, I understand what you're doing. Let me work with the people. He got his people together, your people, everybody. We worked as a team with our employees, and we came up with a fair incentive plan. I'm not a person that believes in handouts. What we said was, if we do this for the community, then we will get this from the state. And that's how we worked it. That was number one. Number two, they said, we'll give you expedited processing to get the building put up. I said, okay, that's fine. I don't know what that means, but that's fine. We'll do that. Well, 6 months later, we have that building built, and it's been a complete success for us. Governor Scott was actually here today to do the ribbon cutting for us, and we opened our new 20,000 square foot addition, which will help us tremendously.
And so in terms of job count, you are currently just over 100 jobs here.
That's correct.
And so you guys committed today to 40 new jobs, right?
That's correct. We committed to a couple of things. We committed to 40 new jobs. We committed to spending over $16 million in this area through additions and everything like that locally. And we also committed to double the size of our company, which obviously helps the tax base in the area, helps everything, helps the UPS drivers and everything like that. So there's a lot of different ways we benefit the community that way. The other thing I'd like to point out is everyone that works for us at a management level started as a tech on the floor, and they've been promoted up to manager. So people started at $8 or $9 an hour are now making $20 plus an hour, and they're running. We train them, we believe in our people, and we continue to work with our people. We offer full medical benefits for our employees. We offer 401k plan for our employees, and I don't believe in minimum wage.
Right.
I think you need to pay a working wage, so we start well above minimum wage.
Right.
And that's what makes us a success, I believe.
Well, and it could very well be that somebody watching is out there thinking, gosh, I want to work for this company.
Come on in.
Now's the time, correct?
Absolutely.
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 Well, Bob, I certainly appreciate what you said about our partnership and putting together this expansion, and we couldn't be more delighted, obviously, that you all have chosen to invest in Okaloosa County. And it was a team effort. Obviously, CareerSource was tremendous, coming to the table to help provide the training that you all need.
Yes.
Our Enterprise Florida partners obviously were at the table, and then our county in terms of providing the expedited permitting that you referenced, and also providing the economic development ad valorem tax exemption, which that was really a no-brainer. Looking at the ROI, the return on investment that our county is going to derive as you guys continue to grow and hire people and engage in economic activity here in Okaloosa County, it's a tremendous partnership.
Well, and a couple of things about that. Let's talk about it. The ad valorem ad that we got, that went in front of the committee. It was a unanimous decision.
It was.
It was a no-brainer for us. The training was almost a bonus for us, but what we're doing now is we actually have 15 people in our company that are being trained in what's called a black belt or lean manufacturing.
Right.
We're paying for that, but the state is also reimbursing and helping us to train these people so that now they're going to get, we've already committed to this, not only are they going to get a certificate that they passed this class, which is great for them, but they're getting pay increases for that.
Right.
And we're going to continue the training. And it's already helped us in the company reduce our costs, and it's made people more aware. So again, you talk about it. And the local, people provided the training rooms for us and everything like that. Yeah, it's been great. It really has been.
Well, and it has from our vantage point too, and certainly Governor Scott, he's known as the jobs governor.
Yes.
And that was talked about a lot today, and rightfully so. I mean, since he's been in office, we've created nearly 1 million jobs in our state, and it's because he's slashing regulations and lowering the tax burden and making it more hospitable, making our state more hospitable for businesses like yours. So it's really nice when we have an opportunity to have him here to highlight a real-world success story that has occurred because of these measures that he's helped lead. So again, it's great to know that those things pay off and that they're things that people like you that are making decisions about competitive locations pay attention to.
Yeah, and you know what? It was, and because you were part of this process, a lot of times government gives words but doesn't back it up. In this case, I will tell you that the words were there, but the actions were there, which is so refreshing for me. It really was. It was a great, I think you'll agree with me that this was a great success story for all of us.
I agree.
For all of us, yeah.
I agree,
definitely.
Absolutely. Well, Bob, it's certainly a pleasure to have you as a partner. It's a pleasure to have you in Okaloosa County, and we certainly look forward to the next chapter.
Well, no kidding. We'll keep on growing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. We'd like to thank Bob Sires and his team once again for hosting Vision of Progress here live on location today. As we discussed, Governor Rick Scott and others were on hand to celebrate the expansion here today, and we're going to cut away in our next segment and allow you to hear some of what the governor had to say. We'll be right back.
12 years ago, we were in Massachusetts, another very high tax state.
High tax, cold.
Yeah, very cold. Ask people from Boston.
Massachusetts or Connecticut, you always say high tax and cold.
Okay.
In Florida, that's what we do.
And we were distributing cable ties, so we were buying them from China and bringing them here and reselling them. And we decided that we wanted to become a full source manufacturer of products made in the USA. Then I said, somewhere in the USA, didn't know where or when or how. I went all around the country, visited many places, talked to many people, and we landed here in Crestview, and I can tell you why. The state, the local, the EDC, the region, everyone pulled together and helped us, came up with a very good incentive plan for us. The weather was very nice, the taxes were low, and it all worked together. The building was here. And that was, as I said, 12 years ago. And we had 5 employees and basically no sales. Today, we have well over 100 employees and over $20 million in sales. And that's phase 1. You're standing in phase 2, and let me give you a little history on that. When we first moved into the other building, it was like this, except bigger. And we said, my God, what are we going to do with this building? We had no idea what to do with it. We'll never fill this up. Well, 10 years of double-digit growth for our company, and last year we realized we were running out of space. What do? We can either relocate or we can expand on our current facility. Alabama and Georgia, nice weather, not so high taxes, were coming after us rather aggressively. They wanted us to move there. They were giving very good incentive programs. So I went to our local and state leaders and I said, you have to step up to the plate and help us to stay here. I'd like to stay here, but what are we going to do about it? Almost immediately, the governor and his people got in contact with me. I talked to the governor on the phone. He said, we'll be there to support you. The EDC, Coastal Bank, everybody around, local, state, federal, our employees, everybody pulled together and we came up with a plan that was good for us and good for the state. And I'm happy to say in 6 months, our builder, Larry, who's here somewhere, who almost died many times trying to do it, put this beautiful building up. And what this is going to allow us to do is double our sales and almost double our workforce in less than 5 years. So again, I thank everybody that had something to do with this. I think it's a win-win for us, for the local community, and for the state. And I appreciate everything that everyone's done, especially the governor, and I'd like to invite him up to say a few words now.
So if you run for governor in Florida, and you run on a job platform, you love people that come from other high-tax, cold states and add jobs in this state. So the first thing I want to do is I want to thank Bob for doing this. I want to thank his commitment to all the people that work here. because that's what we do this for. We love to build businesses. That's what I've done my entire life. But the most important thing is to help somebody get a job and live the dream that they have. So I want to thank all the local elected officials for being here. I want to thank the Economic Development Commission and everybody in the EDC for their involvement. These things don't happen by themselves. You've got to have an entrepreneur like Bob Sires. You've got to have great workers, but you also have government do the right thing. You've got to have economic development teams do the right thing. I have two wonderful individuals I get to work with in Tallahassee. Matt Gates is here and Doug Broxton are here, and they both do a great job representing us here. I've been governor for a little over 4.5 years, and I can tell you the two of them are always there when we want to cut taxes. They're always there when we want to reduce regulation. They're always there when we want to support law enforcement. So these are two individuals that have just done a wonderful job. Now we are absolutely becoming the global destination for jobs. We have added 940,000 jobs in 4 years now. Including August, the last numbers we have, we are adding about 20,000 more jobs in the state each and every month, and our unemployment rate has now dropped in half down to 5.3%. The Crestview area by itself has added in the last 12 months 1,200 jobs, and the unemployment rate here is clear down to 4.5%, so congratulations. At the state level, your tax dollars go into a fund, you go into a program that Enterprise Florida operates. And it's a program that we are required for you as a taxpayer to get a return on your investment. We're required to get a 5 times return. Now, Bob, first off, if you were getting, would you like to get a 5 times return on everything you do?
Absolutely.
That would be nice as a business person. Well, that's as your representative, that's what Enterprise Florida does. They get more than a 5 times return on all the tax dollars you put in. Unfortunately, right now, we're running low on money, so we need to continue to put more money into it. And this is an example of what Enterprise Florida does, along with a lot of local individuals. So we're continuing to grow in our state. What was, as Bob said, what they needed was they needed to grow. They had the opportunity to look at other states, states that have a great workforce like we do, and have low taxes like quite as low as us, fortunately. Alabama and Georgia, but the nice thing is they picked the great state of Florida, and they picked Crestview. So what's exciting right now is we're going to announce the Bay State Cable Ties is going to add more than 40 jobs in the next few years. They're going to fill this place up. They already have, as you heard, more than 100 employees right here, and I look forward to another 100 employees here, and we'll have more jobs. Now these jobs are in a variety of positions. Many existing employees will have the opportunity to upgrade their skills, and what's great is so many opportunities are happening in our state. So we've announced 940,000 jobs. We have these announcements today, but it's always a person. So I want to recognize one person. Pat, if you'll come up and I'll brag about you a little bit. Pat came here 8 years ago as a machine operator, and at that time there weren't quite as many machines, and so some of the things you had to do by hand, but there's a lot more machines now. But Pat's known for willing to put the time in. She's willing to work weekends and holidays. She's had multiple promotions, and now she's in charge of the labor room, which designs and prints all the labels for all the departments. She's very appreciative of her job. She's preparing in 20 or 30 years for retirement. And she loves helping support her children, and three grandchildren.
Yes, sir.
I have 3 of them. I have my 4th somewhere around the 1st of November. By the way, if you have a choice, it's easier to be a grandparent.
Yeah.
So, if you could do the grandparent thing first, that would be really nice. I think a lot of people would say.
Yes.
But congratulations on your success. Robert, you'll come up. I want to give you a Governor's Business Ambassador Award. I don't think they give these out in Connecticut.
No,
because it's too cold, and on top of that, I don't think they're adding many jobs. But, so if you're ever going to run for governor in Florida, you ought to keep these medals around. Because we are adding a lot of jobs in our state. So it's exciting. Bay State Cable Ties, another 40 plus jobs on top of the 100 jobs. And we're going to continue to see them grow here.
Thank you, Governor. It's always an honor and a privilege to have you here in Okaloosa County. I have to tell you, I get excited about these types of announcements too. I think it may be because I come from the private sector like you do, maybe with a few less zeros at the end of my net worth, but otherwise pretty much the same. Bob, I have to tell you, I thought I knew about bad business ideas. I started a health food vending machine business when I was in college. It turns out that Americans, they like junk food out of their snack machines, not so much protein bars. And so anyhow, after that, I figured I was an expert in bad business ideas. When I learned that you're manufacturing cable ties in America, honestly, I thought you had to be crazy. I was wrong. My grandpa's here in the audience today. Hey, Pa. He helped operate one of the earliest manufacturing businesses here in the industrial park. The business was ARC, and it employed developmentally disabled citizens building backpacks for American soldiers. And as special and as important as that was, this little operation here may be even more important to America. We know that Florida is a global leader in technology and in innovation, but this operation is proving that we can compete globally with China and with Mexico on turf that had all but been surrendered. Bay State is proof that through a team effort we can compete competitively and manufacture a simple plastic part, a few pennies piece of plastic, and your quality is better, your cost is competitive, your product is American made, Florida made, and you are disproving the myth that manufacturing is dead in America. If we can outperform China making zip ties, the kind of product that should be their very bread and butter, we can outperform them building anything. Along the way, you are creating stable, good-paying jobs for Floridians, and Okaloosa County is proud to have played a small role through our expedited permitting and our tax incentive programs, and we appreciate the strong partnerships with our friends at the EDC and with the state, thanks especially to Governor Scott's leadership. Bob, congratulations to you and your team.
Now, somebody I get to have the opportunity to work with since I got elected is Representative Matt Gates.
Well, as Governor Scott mentioned, he and Representative Broxson and I were all elected in the year 2010. And Doug and Governor, we remember those days. They were very different. Florida was facing an economy that was contracting. Enrollment in our schools was declining. State revenues were facing multi-billion-dollar shortfalls, and unemployment was at its highest level in Florida in a generation. We live in a very different Florida today. We've created almost 1 million new jobs. Governor Scott, thank you. But see, we didn't do the things that those high-tax, cold states in the Northeast did. We didn't deficit spend. We cut the state debt. We didn't raise taxes. We've cut taxes by almost $1 billion in just the last 2 years. We didn't increase regulatory burdens for our businesses. Thanks to Governor Scott's leadership, we have repealed or revised over 4,000 job-killing regulations. Now, Florida stands at the brink of some of our greatest success and some of our greatest prosperity. Job creation is among the highest in the country. The per capita taxes that each Floridian pays is the lowest in America, and there is more to come, far more to come. Governor, I am proud to report to you, as chairman of the Finance and Tax Committee in the Florida House of Representatives, that each month that we look at revenue projections, Florida continues to outpace even our boldest expectations for economic expansion and growth. We anticipate that this year we will have upwards of $700 million in additional revenue, not that the government has created, but that the people of Florida have created. And if Governor Scott has anything to say about it, and if I have anything to say about it, we will keep cutting taxes, we will keep reducing regulatory burdens so that great companies like Bay State Cable Ties can continue to grow and continue to make Florida the best place in America to do business. Thank you, Governor.
As Representative Gates said, we're one of the few states. We paid off $7.5 billion worth of debt in the last 4.5 years, and we've cut taxes 50 times. Now, all these things are great things. You cannot do it by yourself if you're a governor. If it wasn't for the leadership of Representative Gates, Representative Broxton, these things wouldn't happen. So I want to thank both of them again for all their support in cutting taxes, cutting taxes, cutting taxes. So now we're going to hear from Representative Doug Broxton.
Thank you, Bob, for settling in District 3. It's a great area. You know, 5 years ago, I met Rick Scott before he was Governor Scott. And he introduced me to a 4-letter word. And he asked me to learn that word over and over again. And it was jobs. If you go back to the first day you were elected to now in the 5th year, it's always been the same message, jobs. And jobs means a lot to different people. If you come from a very poor background like Governor Scott did or I did, you know the value of seeing your father come home at night with a paycheck, able to do the fundamental things that our society requests. It is a fundamental principle of our culture, our ethic, our religion, that we have good paying jobs and that we can have that respect and personal dignity. They know, law enforcement knows, that they're dealing many times with people that do not have jobs. And frankly, it's a shame in this country that we do not provide a better atmosphere that everyone that wants to work should be able to work. And Governor, you have been consistent on that message from day one. Thank you for being a resident of this area, because we see you a lot. You're a friend of us. God bless you, God bless your family, and especially your grandchildren.
So I want to congratulate everybody at Bay State Cable Ties for all their success. It's a great group of employees that are making this happen. I want to thank Bob for your commitment to this again. This looks really good. It looks a lot better in Florida on it than it would be in any other state. I'm sure you don't live in another high tax cold state, or if you do, it's short-lived. So congratulations.
Again, in closing, what I'd like to say is I agree with everything that's said. It's more important for us to create jobs for people, made in America. You'll see it on our business cards. You'll see it on everything that we do. We believe in it, and we know it can work. We're an example of it, and we hope that it continues. And with that, I'd like to thank everyone for being here, and then I'd like to invite the governor to do a ribbon cutting with us to open this facility. You guys gonna hold it? Governor, you're gonna cut it.
Okay, so everybody, let's take a picture looking straight ahead. It's better. And by the way, when I cut it, it's still better. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Refreshments and everything for people, so feel free to.
What a tremendous day for Okaloosa County. Again, congratulations to Bay State Cable Ties for their expansion here in Crestview. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.